Hey y'all, I just wanted to come to y'all with a quick video. Excuse my hair, got wet last night. It was a tornado here and I had to get out the car to do something. So my hair got wet. But anyway, I just wanted to come to y'all with a quick story time, really quick. I was thinking about this story time the other day and I just kept laughing to myself because it's funny now, but at the time it was not funny. So let me just get into it. So as you guys know, I was in the military. I was in the Navy. And so when my daughter turned 6 weeks, well, me and my husband's daughter, when she turned 6 weeks, we drove back here to St. Louis. So in the midst of driving from California to St. Louis, well, San Diego to St. Louis, we had to go through Kansas. So two things happened in Kansas. The first night we were driving through Kansas, it was like really, and this what reminded me of it because yesterday it was a tornado, and I was like, man, it looked how I looked it when we was riding through Kansas. So we were riding through Kansas. Of course, it started getting like dark, and it started getting really cloudy, and everything just started to look just all bad. The weather just started to look all bad. So we kept going, and we seen like high winds. We seen like just we saw the buildup of the tornado about to come our way. So my husband is driving, and at this point, I don't even see how he's driving because basically we can't see nothing. He can't see nothing. So I'm like, babe, pull over. And he like, no, it's nowhere to pull over because we was on one of those 2-lane streets, 2-lane highways. So of course we could have like pulled over on the shoulder or in the grass because it was like a really rural area. But I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. We were in a rural town and we're black. So we wasn't trying to just pull over on the side of the road in somebody's yard and it becomes a problem. And we seen a lot of Confederate flags and stuff like that. So we really want to make it to somewhere like well lit and somewhere safe, honestly. So we end up making it to Walmart. It looked like a Walmart. I think it was a Walmart. I'm not gonna say it looked like a Walmart. I can't remember whether it was a Walmart or not. But we ended up making it to a Walmart, and we ended up actually sleeping there because we were trying to wait out the storm. But we had both ended up dozing off. I think I had took my daughter out of her car seat and put her on my chest. And we ended up dozing off. Cool. Okay. We woke up the next day, got back on the road. I don't even remember if we got something to eat or not. But we got back on the road, and so we're driving, and I don't know if it was Route 66. I had to ask my husband. But it was one of those highways where you would be on the highway for a minute, and then probably I say about 50 miles, and then you'll go through a town. So it was like highway, then you'll go through a town, but you had to go through this town to get back on the highway. So we we on the highway and we get off, we go into a town. And so this town is called Meade, Kansas. So we get off the highway, we going to Meade, Kansas. As we're leaving Meade, Kansas, my husband sees the sign, like the speed sign basically saying like the highway was like 65 miles per hour, whatever the case may be. So he started to speed up as he's about to be on the highway to meet that speed. Big mistake. So when he does that, we get flagged by the police. And so I panic, he panic. I'm like, what you want me to do? He like play sleep. I don't know why I play sleep to this day. I still don't know why I play sleep. So we just sitting right there. The police come up to the door, license, registration, all that good stuff. So my husband hands him all the information, and we knew that my husband had issues with his license. We knew this already. But I'm gonna be honest with you, he had been driving shit forever and never got pulled over. He probably had a speeding ticket, I think back in like 2011. This was like 2014. He had a speeding ticket like in 2011 at the time. That was the last thing that he had. Or maybe even 2010. And so, and excuse me for saying so much. I'm trying to stop, but I'm still doing it, I guess. But so he ended up coming back to the car, and so he said the words that nobody wants to hear. Can you please step out the car? And I'm like, no, please. Like, at this point, all cool, points out the window. I start, please don't lock him up. Please, my daughter in the back seat. She's a baby. We from St. Louis. I'm just like, and here he's like, ma'am, da 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 da. So they end up locking him up. And so I followed behind a police car, and I followed them to the police station. So we get to the police station, and I'm sorry, people looking at me like I'm doing something wrong. I guess that's how all the YouTubers feel, because people be straight staring at you like you crazy, but obviously I'm blogging, obviously. So anyway, I followed them to the police station, and so they post him a bail. I can't remember what the bail was, but I remember we had it. But at this point, we were on our way to St. Louis. We have money, but it was like we still had to put up money because both our birthdays were coming up. We wanted to have fun with our family, and then we had to make sure we had the money to drive back. And we needed, emergency money, in case anything happened. Because, of course, we were driving. So if anything happened with the car or anything like that, we did not have, no bond money put up. So, but luckily, for some reason, not the car we were driving, but I had a car at home. I had a BMW at home, an older model BMW that was paid off. And so I had the title to it. So to ensure he went to court, I gave him the car title, and because they know I was going to come back for that title. And I gave them, I think, a couple $100. And he ended up getting out within a couple hours. So he got out, and I mean, it just was like, why would he lock him up? And I'm not saying that, of course, as a police officer, you have to do your job. But I just know for a fact that he could have gave him a ticket. And I say this because we recently got pulled over coming back from Great Wolf Lodge in Kansas, and it was by a state trooper, and he just gave him a couple tickets, and the situation was way worse, honestly. I don't really want to get too much into detail, but the situation was way worse. But they did not have to lock him up. They did not have to give him a bond. So we ended up having to stay in St. Louis for like an extra week because his court date was a little further out than we had expected on staying, and we wasn't gonna drive from California back to Kansas. So we stayed in St. Louis probably like an extra week, and he went to his court date, and yeah, got a whole bunch of tickets, and I got my car title back. But yeah, so that was the time that my husband got locked up in me, Kansas. And the reason that I wanted to tell this story is because that really traumatized me. I know it traumatized him, but first of all, I had just had a baby. I really honestly think I wasn't all the way recovered from my C-section. I shouldn't even been traveling. And I just remember when I got to the police station, of course I got out, got my daughter out. We had been traveling for 2, almost 3 days at this point. And I was tired, I was sweaty, it was hot as fuck. And so I was just like annoyed. My baby was like just irritated. I can tell she was tired of sitting in the car. And so I remember I was just in the bathroom, and I was just calling my mom and telling her what happened. And I was calling his mom, telling her what happened. And I remember having to change my daughter on the floor of the bathroom inside of me, Kansas, because they didn't have like a changing station. So I had to get one of her blankets, lay it down on the floor, and change her on the floor. I had to like wash her up like on the floor because she needed to be washed up. She like smelled like milk, and she was like sweaty. So I had to wash her up and change her, and I ended up taking like a bird bath in the sink, and it was just horrible because And don't make this mistake while traveling. We were trying to be cheap and we didn't want to stop and get hotels. So we was kind of like taking turns driving, but neither one of us wanted to go to sleep. He drove more than me though, but neither one of us wanted to go to sleep. So we would just take naps here and there and just keep going. But yeah, we would never do that again. We would always stop and try to at least get one good night's sleep. Because when we came back, the last time when we actually moved to St. Louis, we got 2 hotels. So don't make that mistake while traveling. Have your shit together. Have your license, your insurance, your registration. Have your shit together because they will pull you over. So, yeah, I just wanted to come to y'all with this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. New content is on the way. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye, everybody.